on our customers. We offer new and used Ford and Lincoln vehicles, parts, service, and used cars, including Focus, Fiesta, and more. For more information, drop by 3930 Franklin in Michigan City, Indiana, or visit them online at SowersAuto.com. Sowers Ford Lincoln, Northwest Indiana's newest Ford Lincoln dealer.
Back here on the ALR Express, presented by Sowers Ford Lincoln Mercury of Michigan City. Alvin Washington on the box. Hit me up 573-200-6505. Tweet us at Arena Sportsnet or at ASN Plus. Use the hashtag Afternoon Locker Room. Converse with us, chat with us, whatever you want to do. Kick the Willy Bobo with the people. All right. Okay. Whole gang of stuff has come down the pipe since we've been talking about the findings of the Robert Miller investigation into the alleged mishandling of the Ray Rice second videotape in the domestic violence case against the now former Baltimore Raven. There is a sighting of a new general manager for the Chicago Bears. It just happens to have come up from I-55 in New Orleans. Everybody meet Ryan Pace. It's the second move at that position in just 3 years. Pace replaces Phil Emery, who was fired December 29th after just 3 seasons at the helm. The 37-year-old Pace joins the Bears after working 14 years with the Saints, spending the last 13 as a member of the player personnel department. Pace worked for 2 seasons as the director of player personnel, leading the club in all facets of scouting and evaluation of college and pro prospects. In a statement from Saints general manager Mickey Loomis, he says about Pace, quote, "We hate to lose him, and yet he's ready for a general manager's job. I would expect to lose him at some point. It's a good thing when your people are being asked to interview for jobs and promotions." Not only did Pace get a glowing review from Loomis, Saints coach Sean Payton also chimed in as well. So, Ryan Pace, welcome to Chicago. And I'm hearing a lot of things right now from off-air stuff that I've seen on our Twitter feed that Bears fans want Mel Tucker gone immediately. Like 48 hours ago. So we'll see if that indeed does happen. Not so good news for Green Bay fans. Sources tell various media outlets that there may be a slight tear in the calf muscle of one Aaron Rodgers, which could dampen game plans for the Packers to possibly topple the surging Dallas Cowboys come their big-time divisional playoff game this Sunday at noon at Lambeau Field. Now, he will make the start. A doctor familiar with the injury tells the media there's no question he will play, but there's also no question he will not be 100%. The question is whether he'll be 95% or 50%. Now, the Packers are aggressively treating the injury with the hope he can be as well as possible. Each person responds differently to calf injuries. Mind you, Aaron Rodgers had not practiced since beating the Detroit Lions for the NFC North title just before the New Year crossed, about a week and a half ago. Earlier today was the first time he had practiced with the Packers. It's going to be interesting because he's putting a a 2-year no interception streak on the line. Not to mention being able to get Green Bay back to the Super Bowl for the first time in about 4 years. Because the last time he got to the Super Bowl, which I believe was the one and only time he did get there, again, it was against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was a shootout, but he wound up winning that Super Bowl because that was the cold one in Dallas at AT&T Stadium when it had just opened up. And he's also trying to break a present home playoff trend of 1-3 at Lambeau Field since winning the Super Bowl. So that calf is going to be quite interesting to watch. There is a possibility Ndamukong Suh could stay in Detroit one more year. Words coming from their general manager, being Detroit Lions general manager, says the team may be open to using the franchise tag on the Pro Bowl defensive lineman. That's coming from Martin Mayhew, the Lions general manager. They say they are open to doing so. Quoting him, he certainly is a big priority for us, and he's an important part of our football team the past 5 years, and I think the world of him. However, even though they are openly looking at franchising him, first day they can do so is February 16th, which is a full 15 days after Super Bowl 49 has concluded in Arizona, and they've also have until March 2nd at 4 p.m. Eastern Time to make such a designation. Now, if Suh is indeed franchised, that's $26 million in cap room that Detroit would be costing themselves if that tag is put on them. So this is going to be an interesting transaction to see if indeed Detroit will pull the trigger to keep Ndamukong Suh for one more year. Cleveland Browns and Kyle Shanahan, their offensive coordinator, have now parted ways. A source with the team making that known to the media. As a matter of fact, Shanahan had resigned, and quarterbacks coach Doyle Logans was fired. Both spent 1 year with the Browns, and both were under contract for next year. Fox Sports broke this earlier. An announcement is expected later today. Sources familiar with the situation said the split was caused because the pair didn't see eye to eye with the front office about quarterback and first-round draft pick Johnny Manziel. The front office wants Manziel to be the starter, and the source said the coaches do not believe they can win with him. This is going to be fun because now you have a situation in Cleveland where you now need another offensive coordinator. You now need a quarterback's coach. And it's as almost if the Browns want a pair of yes men to greenlight Johnny Manziel into the starter's position, where Brian Hoyer had did a decent job get him in the playoff contention. Just one problem. By week 8, Brian Hoyer started to fade miserably. Johnny Manziel jumped in the mix from there on, with the exception of the last week of the season. It doesn't look like he is anywhere near ready, and he even said himself that he wasn't ready to do anything. Here's hoping that Johnny Manziel wisens up and gets into the film room and gets with it, because this is not College Station anymore, bruh. These folk are locked and loaded and coming after you. And if you're not ready to stand in that pocket and do what you need to do to make it happen, you're going to be another one of those also ran Heisman Trophy quarterbacks on the sideline, holding the clipboard. They've been calling him Johnny Clipboard for a good minute. I can't see why they won't continue it now. The ALR Express is brought to you by your friends at LaPorte County Life and LaPorteCountyLife.com. Have you heard the good news? Alabama's brightest offensive players have now announced that they will jump to the NFL next season. Among them, Amari Cooper, J.J. Yeldon, and Landon Collins. All three have announced their intentions to go to the NFL next year. Cooper is the most heralded among the three prospects. He could be the number 4 overall pick by the time we get to Chicago in the April NFL draft. Collins was first-team All-SEC with 103 tackles, second on the team with passes defended. He's the number 10 overall pick, could be the first safety taken off the board. As for J.J. Yeldon, 932 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns. He could be the number 6 running back taken off the board, but potentially could also be a mid-second round pick. To the NBA. Looks like the NBA's Atlanta Hawks, who are blazing a trail to the top of the Eastern Conference charts right now, their plan to sell the Hawks in its entirety has now been approved by the league. Now, who's going to buy them? That remains to be seen. But here's some incentive. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed has said the city might offer concessions to any new owner to ensure that the Hawks commit to remaining in Atlanta for 30 more years. Now, if the Hawks do leave Phillips Arena, that's $75 million out the door. But that's if and only if the Hawks leave before the 2018-19 season. The Hawks right now have the best record in the NBA since December 1st. They've gone 18-2. That's 4.5 games better than West Conference leader Golden State. And with the win last night against the Memphis Grizzlies, the Hawks have scored 9 straight wins over Western Conference competition. And there's not a single household name on that club. That is indeed amazing. The question is, can the Hawks keep it up? Because Chicago is starting to surge. Toronto, despite their little bumps and the loss of DeRozan, they're still in the hunt. You've got a Washington Wizards team that is surprising the hand biscuit out of everybody. And I think the addition of Paul Pierce may be adding to the mix as well. But there's still a lot of time for a lot of teams to turn the corner. We will just have to see, once we get past the All-Star break, where the divide in both conferences will happen.